let's get started. Happy Thursday, everyone. My name is Sam. I'm the CEO of Roomvu. We have about 50,000 agents in our platform. Today, we have an awesome guest. She's joining us from BC. Her name is Darci, and I would leave it to Darci to introduce herself, and we can kind of go from there.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Roomvu. So my name is Darci LaRocque, and I am the CEO, founder. I call myself the tech psychiatrist at Agent Tech Mastery, and I help agents all over North America streamline their business with proper business systems in place.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes,
and a couple of questions. What is the tech psychiatrist that you said? Like, I want to learn more about that. Let's start with that.
You know, I just find most agents hate the tech side. They're in a sales business, right? And then yet you still have to run your business. And so, they have to have the proper, they should, most don't have proper systems in place in order for everything to sync and integrate. And most of the times it's just kind of piecemealing their business together to get by. And I think that they want to scream when they hear, hey, have you tried this new whatever? Or have you used a CRM? And they want to pull their hair out because it's so overwhelming and frustrating. So I think I kind of am a psychiatrist because I love all the stuff that most agents hate because I've been doing it for way too long. And, it comes easy to me now because it's, 30 years or so I've been doing email integration, software programming. And so I love it.
That's awesome. And I guess as a psychiatrist, you would get to listen to all the complaints as well, right? God, I hate this CRM. It's not working. How do I get it to work? So, all right. So let's get started a little bit about like how did you get started? Like, what's your background?
So my background is information technology. Back in the 90s, I went to school in information technology. And then I worked for a long time in first financial services and IT, and then healthcare and IT. And healthcare really was the one where I started delving into stuff that I'm doing now. It's where the top doctors, we had a project back then with Palm Pilots. You're probably too young to know what a Palm Pilot is.
I'm really too young for top producer. But yeah.
So before Blackberries, so Palm Pilots and Blackberries were a thing back then. And I ran a project with all the top doctors across the lower mainland on how it integrates and how to keep everything integrated and working. And that was very interesting. And then so I have done everything under the sun, but my real passion is about the importance of how email works and flows. And I think people don't understand it. They really don't understand it. So
let's dive into that. Like, what is complicated about emails and why people don't understand it? Let's get in there. Let's get into details.
And it seems so easy, right? Like it's email. But if I'm going to like high level, every email address somebody has, and I can tell you, I've never met an agent with just one email. They might have 5, 10. The most I've seen is, you ready for this? 27.
Jesus. What are those? Like, why did I have 27? But okay.
Well, they did have it for a reason, but we sorted it all out and got them down to 1, maybe 2. But part of it, with every single email address you have, there's a possibility, obviously, of email folder structure, contacts, which is an agent's goal. That's right. And calendar, which is also, we live by these things. And possibly cloud storage. So we've got all these things connected to an email address. And if you've got 5 of them, your stuff's all over the place. That's why on your phone, you add a contact and then you go to your computer and it's not there. And you're like, why isn't it there? It's here. Why isn't it there? Then you go to your CRM and it's not there either. You have to manually add it because none of these things are all integrated and working properly. And they piecemealed their business together. And the other side of it is with email is that, in my opinion, you should not be running your business with like an AOL, MSN, Gmail, Yahoo, Shaw TELUS for our Canadian people, Comcast for our American people. Those email addresses are very, very bad to use. for one thing, you're marketing for somebody else, right? You're not marketing for yourself. You're marketing for AOL if you're using any. Do people still use AOL? I'm saying AOL like everybody knows it. Let's Yahoo. Let's use Yahoo because I was just working with someone with a Yahoo email. Yahoo.com. And so if we look at it in a different sense, like if you're going to hire a lawyer, right? And you had interviewing a couple lawyers because you should see if they're a good fit for whatever you're trying to do. And one lawyer's email address is joethebestlawyer@yahoo.com. And the other lawyer is joe@smithlaw.com. Is the other one even a lawyer? They certainly haven't set their business up properly. Right?
Exactly, right? And I think that's a great point. So imagine I have like 2-3 emails, and how do I integrate it? How do I move away from this old legacy system, and how do I integrate into this new domain that I just purchased? I'm investing all my time and money into this new thing that I'm doing. How would you go about this?
Well, so part of that is that they need to book a call with me to look at it, because that's what everyone wants to know. What's the magic answer? What email platform do I use? What domain? Where do I buy my domains? What CRM do I get? But the answer is much more difficult than just saying, go here, do this and do that, and buy this and do that. Because one agent might have 27 emails and have never tried any CRM. Another agent might have 5 emails and they've tried a bunch of CRMs and they're currently using one. And so we have to look at each one individually, but high level, what happens is we look at each one. And here's even why it's even more complicated as just what's an email address. Many email addresses, that you've probably heard the term POP or IMAP. It's old technology, really. And so POP email, though it has contacts attached to it, they don't talk to each other either. So you might log on to your POP email account by webmail on Chrome, let's say, and you do stuff there and you add a contact, and then you have the same POP email on your phone. It doesn't talk to each other, because it's such old technology. And so POP bad. If anyone who has POP email, it's bad. My specialty is if they come and work with me, we get all the stuff out of that POP email and that IMAP email, and we get it into a properly configured business email.
Awesome. So imagine I'm an agent. I have like 200 contacts, 300 contacts. I get this a lot. Agents come to us and they're like, I have all these contacts. These are all past clients, past referrals, whatever it is that I've done. I've generated leads on Zillow, all those places. What is the best way to keep in contact with these contacts that let's call them your database, right? Like, let's call them your future bread and butter, because these are the people that will pay you in the future, right? So, and I get this a lot. Like, agents start spamming them and start texting them so much that they've kind of spoiled that contact. What is the best? Like, what does that look like to you? Like, what is the success of contact nurturing or lead nurturing looking to you?
I think what agents do in generality, they either do nothing, which is hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars in lost revenue. And I'm not kidding when I talked. A lot of the agents, I do work with new agents, but many of the agents I work with are top producing agents who've been around for my oldest client is still in the business for 40 years.
Wow.
And the question when you ask them, I'm not surprised anymore, but in the beginning I was, how do you keep in touch with your past clients? And I always got the what? I don't know how, so I never did. I'm always paying for Zillow leads or some kind of leads and chasing new clients. I'm not keeping in touch with my past clients. And if you do the math, Sam, how much money you have lost, because if you're not keeping in touch with them, somebody else is.
Exactly, right? And you're leaving so much money on the table. You've already built this relationship. You've already gone through that process, right? Like, you've already been helping them. They know you. They trust you. They had a good experience with you, and now you're just leaving them kind of empty-handed, right?
One and done. It makes no sense to me. It literally doesn't. So that's where the CRM comes into place, right? There's a CRM, and here's the thing: if they do nothing else, is that you have to market to the right people. You do not say the same thing to a prospective buyer as you do an actual seller. And I see agents, they trying to do stuff and they say, like a newsletter. Here's a great example. I guess it's better than nothing, but a newsletter sent to, let's just say your client just bought a house and they're thrilled to death. They love it. And you say, oh, I add every single person I ever meet into my newsletter. And then you're using a newsletter that's talking about staging their property. They don't care. You're marketing to the wrong person. You should be, you know, that person already. They should be in a customized, I cannot say the word enough, customized. You never send an email, a newsletter, a CRM without customizing it, making it sound like you. And then
segmentation, right? Like, how do you segment all these people? How do you group them? Okay, so these are my buyers, these are my sellers, these are my people that I've worked with. They're chasing interest rates. They want to know what's happening. They're not actively buying or selling, but they want to know what's going on in the market, right?
That's right. By labeling your contacts in a proper business email. So you should be labeling past clients, prospective buyers, prospective sellers, and they should be added to a customized drip campaign based on who they are and what they're looking for, right? If you're always have, oh, I got to write that email again. What did I say to that last person? You're doing it wrong because you're saying the same thing to the same type of person, right?
That's exactly right. And I always tell this to our agents. We are not in the home selling business. We are in the education business, right? Like, we have to educate our customers. We have to keep telling them what's going on in the market, like why they should be doing a certain thing if they're doing it that way. And I think that's what a lot of agents miss. I hate these emails when they said, like, check out my new listing. Who cares, like, if you got a listing? Oh, sure, like, it shows off that you got a $2 million listing, but honestly, that first time home buyer that's looking to get in the market at 500K, they don't care.
Yep. And sometimes, Sam, that too might throw off those people who are buying, like, can only afford 500, let's say. Oh, they must not work with.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. I think depending, and maybe that agent doesn't want to, then that's okay. But you have to understand, who are you marketing to? Who are the people? Are they buyers? Are they sellers? Are they first-time home buyers? You say different things to the different types of people.
I think the days of posting like just sold and just listed is kind of running out. Like, it's good. It's a good validation that you know your business. But I think that the bigger part is, how do you showcase that experience? How do you show your customers or your people that, okay, these were the hurdles. Like, we had this problem. How do you tell that story, right? Like, this is what I did for my clients. I jumped through hoops to make this deal work. I went up and down. Like, they wanted this house, they didn't like it at the end. Then they did this. I got them the best rate. All these things matter, right? And I think that's this part of the story that's missing from a lot of email campaigns, a lot of social media posts. Seeing it, right?
Yep, totally agree. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, so now let's move on to, so I think we covered marketing automation. Now let's talk about presence in social media.
Yeah.
So to you, what is a successful presentation or presence on social media looking like? Like, what is success? If you're an agent, obviously you come across these realtors on TikTok and Instagram, and you're like, God, I wish I could get listings like them. I wish I could be seen by them, like by others just like them. What's your advice? Like, how would they get started? How would they get going about that?
So honestly, my expertise is not social media, it's business systems, but that is part of it. But I do think it's consistency. I think that, and I also think that you could get overwhelmed, and you probably know this too, is that an agent can get overwhelmed. Oh, I have to be on TikTok and Snapchat and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. And how the heck do you do your job when you've got to do all this other stuff with social platforms, which is, I think, where you guys come in, is where you get somebody else to do it for you. But still, I think you have to make it sound like you. Right, where your stuff is customized as well.
Which is what we always talk about, right? It's like I tend to describe social media, and I stole this from a Remax managing broker here in Vancouver.
Yeah.
But I think social media is this beautiful meal. that you have to serve to your audience. So you got the appies, you gotta have a nice drink with it, and then you got the meal, which is a beautiful meal, and then you have the dessert coming right after, right? I think most realtors come close to just serving that appy, like they serve a glass of wine, they maybe do a toast, maybe, and then they serve a piece of chocolate at the end, but there's no meal. And I think I've been struggling to teach this, but even if you leave it to us, an automation company, we can do 80% of the work, but there's still that 20%, that sauce to the meal, that garnishing of the food is what you have to still do to make this work. And I think that's something that a lot of agents are missing. They would just think that, okay, I hired this guy. It could be a VA, it could be whatever, but they're not telling your story, right?
No, and you know what I think too, and I hear a lot from agents. So I don't know what to post. Oh my goodness, you live somewhere and you're out and about having, well, okay, it's COVID, but most areas we're out and about, and there's businesses we go to. You take 5 minutes. Hey, I'm at this new local coffee shop. It's amazing. Have you guys been here? Where's your favorite coffee shop? Takes two. Like, it's not a big deal. And the other thing that when I used to teach social media, I've totally been out of it for many years. I'm just focusing on business systems. But when I was doing that, another thing that I found, this happened more often than you would imagine, is that I would go into their whatever account, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it might be, and I would go to their messages. And they would have messages in there that they've never looked at, asking about something that was posted about a house that was for sale.
Wow.
Like, missed deals because they're not checking. There's ways to, automatically get an email when Facebook, someone messages you, or Instagram. Like, you got to turn those on, or at least check those. I can't tell you how many times, many times.
Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of agents miss as well, right? Like, just covering all the bases. Like, it could be a simple post about your favorite coffee shop. You're picking up your kids from school, post about it. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated, but it has to tell your story, the way you see the world.
Yeah.
And we had an agent in San Francisco. I remember his story. Like, he was a techie, and obviously a lot of techies in San Francisco. So he moved away from I don't know, Microsoft or whatever that he was working on, and he became this techie realtor. And he was super successful at it because he kept on saying that I'm a techie realtor. He kept on even sharing news that related to tech in San Francisco. Like, there's an office opening next to this area. Like, Microsoft is leasing this space, or I don't know, Twitter is leasing the space. And then people would think, okay, well, he knows the tech. He knows where the tech is going, and this city is based on tech. So I would better have talk to him, right? And another example of that, I think, was I worked with an agent in your city, Kelowna, and she was into wines and wineries, and I think that was the thing, right? Like, a lot of people connected with them because they wanted to know about wineries and vineyards and all those things, right?
That's right.
And I think showcasing that niche, whatever, like, you would think it's not niche, but it is niche. Like, to a lot of people, it is niche, and it is that little thing that matters a lot. So I guess that's something that agents miss a lot. So next topic, how would you define return on investment on a marketing automation or on social media or anything that an agent uses? Like, how would you define it? Is it a lead coming in? Is it a closed deal? What is it? Like, okay, I've adopted the CRM. How do I measure my success?
Well, I think partly is that you'll start making more money because you're keeping in touch with clients. You will save time because now I'm not going to fool anyone about, is there some upfront time that has to be spent customizing a library of drips. So let's use that same thing, that prospective buyer drip. So a sequential set of emails and tasks for that type of client. So let's say it's an email, I don't know, there's like 14 emails. You got to customize it. I have to make it sound like Darci, not like whoever made that default email, right? And what I find, agents sometimes just say, oh yeah, I'll use that and I'm going to send it off. I'm like, it sounds horrible. Like, it doesn't sound like you. So you got to customize it. and then you add the people to the drip. So upfront time, but then every prospective buyer goes on this drip. You get a reminder in week 2 to call them or text them or direct message them, whatever you want to do. And so it's going to save you time. And because you're consistently keeping in touch, they're going to be your client. It's just a no-brainer to me. It really is a no-brainer. Everything goes in. The one thing I do say, the cold leads that come from like your website, or some people have lead generation websites, the cold leads, that I wouldn't put them into an actual CRM until they actually become a warm lead. Cold leads.
And is there any practices you would recommend to warm up those leads?
Well, keeping in touch any old way, right? Like picking up the phone saying, hey, we sent you an email last week. How's it going? Or are you still looking for a place? Is the area change? Whatever, right? I mean, here's the thing too, in my so this program I run agents through, in the 5th week, their homework that week is to send an email. Their systems are all set up by this time to send an email blast to all the people labeled past client. And here's the thing, and this is not, it shouldn't be shocking, but it is. When they do it, and I can't tell you, when I just hit the send button, please hit the send button. I'll have people saying, oh, I don't want to. I'm like, you have not been keeping in touch with them for 10 years. Who cares? What are you going to do? What do you have to lose? Nothing. So I literally, this happened last week. I have this lovely gal in my membership. And so she sent it out. She sent it out to 79 people. She had more, but she only wanted to send it to 79. Like, okay. And she was terrified to hit the send button. So she finally sent it. And she texted me the next day, all giddy and happy, saying she's got 1 listing, 2 pending, and a bunch of people saying, oh my gosh, where have you been? How have you been? Like, come on. Is that worth it? She just like, come on, three deals from 1 email. It's like, I get shivers when I talk about it, because if you don't understand that, then I don't know what else I can tell you. That happens.
And I think something that people miss a lot is they never measure the time that they're putting in to do things manually. So they always think of it as, okay, I have to spend like 3 hours building this system, 4 hours customizing it. But are you counting how many actual texts you're just sending to people? How many like manual news things you're sending to existing clients? How many of them do you drop when you're doing this? You're like, oh damn it, I forgot this guy. And no one measures the pain on their mind, or the time that they have to spend daily doing these things.
But they feel the pain. They just don't measure it.
Yeah. And they come to us as techies per se, and they come and say, well, I'm running out of time. Well, you're not running out of time, right? You're just doing tedious tasks that are taking a lot of your day, right?
Yeah.
So if I wanted to make it simple, so what is the #1 tech mistake to you? Like, how would you describe that? Like, what is the #1 technology mistake for realtors? What is that one thing that you see so often?
I think I've got 4, because my whole business is around 4 things they do wrong.
All right, go ahead.
It is domain. Domain. Like, you cannot be a serious agent without a website. And I personally don't think it has to be anything complicated, but you have to be real. People have to know that you're out there. Number 2 is a properly configured business email. Number 3 is a proper understanding of cloud storage. And only when those 3 things line up do we even look at a CRM. Because only some CRMs, if they ever integrate, they will only integrate not with Shaw email, not with TELUS, not with Yahoo or Hotmail or AOL or Comcast. They will only integrate with a properly configured business email. So it's the 4 things. And I have a webinar on my website. If anyone wants to go there, at agenttechmastery.com, go there and just take 45 minutes and watch my webinar, because it covers like, why are these things important?
That makes sense. And my next question is, we've often heard this: if you don't have a system, you are the system. How would you explain this further, like in a 2 or 3 kind of segment or sentence way.
It really is. Like if you are properly systematized, again, those top 4 things all integrated and everything is working, you don't have to work as hard, right? You really don't. Because I know what it's like for people is I know I sent that email, now I can't find it. I know I had that calendar. Why is that calendar appointment only on my phone and it's not on my other device and on here, and I missed an appointment because I didn't have my phone. There's so many things that I think that they do. They want to pull their hair out because they're not streamlined, right? And it is, if you are the system, your business is running you aren't running your business.
Yeah, and there's this whole definition of running from like moving away from a business operator to business owner, right? And I think operator is just operating the system, and he's the system, but he or she is the system. But the owner is owning the system, and the system is doing most of the work. And I think
Most of the work, yeah.
Moving away from being an operator, just running things and just going from A to B, and owning that whole system is a big thing. So we have this great question on YouTube. So my Durham house is asking us, how would you define a warm lead and a cold lead? Like, how would you define it?
Well, I personally think like cold leads are anything that comes in that they come in off like your brokerage website and you get assigned the lead, or it comes in off a lead gen, like they don't know you, right? Cold lead is just, they don't know you. They found you somewhere and it's a cold lead. Warm leads is that somehow there's a connection, right? And that you
so a cold lead is a Zillow lead or an ads lead or something that they just came in, but they haven't really been in touch with you. They don't know you personally.
They don't know you. Yeah.
They don't know who Darci is or who Sam is. They just know that they signed up on this website. They wanted to see this. Well, now they're assigned to you.
Yeah, good question. Because it is confusing. And I do differentiate it with CRMs because there are lead generation CRMs, right? And so those are cold leads coming in from somewhere. And then what I tell agents is let it run its thing and make sure that you look at what are you saying, what are you saying to the people? And then once they become like you talk to them, then you bring them into your actual CRM where you've got your customized drip campaigns as well.
That makes sense. And we are getting 2 people asking us the same question. So that means the 4 pillars of your tech mastery is important and exciting for our agents. One is Margaret and one is Tim. They're both asking, what are number 3 and 4 again in your 4 pillars? So the first one was like email. The second one was domain.
The first one is domain.
Okay.
Because you have to own a domain to get the properly configured business email with that domain, right? And then cloud storage. And by cloud storage, I mean like Dropbox, iCloud, Google Drive, OneDrive. What I find, and this is again something we help agents with in my program, is that usually they're either using nothing, or they have a little bit of Dropbox, a little bit of iCloud, a little bit of OneDrive, a little bit, and then when they go to find their stuff, they're like, I don't know where it is. It's in one of those places, right? So they can't find anything. And so we look at how they're currently working and say, well, okay, so if your computer dies right now, are you okay? And if the answer is no, please go watch my webinar or book a call with us, because if you lose all your data, oh my goodness.
It feels like I know we as realtors get audited like quite often, right? Like 3 years into the business, 4 years in, is this deal that went south and people are suing each other. You need to have the paperwork. You need to have every piece of document on a Dropbox, on a piece of cloud. And I think that's the key. And the 4th one was a CRM. I think
last is the CRM, and I think CRMs are really like, you got to have one. It's, if I have to put it in order, it's only last because those other things have to be set up properly before the CRM can be integrated. Otherwise, it's a standalone system all by itself out there in the world. Okay. And
Ina Pack or Ina Pack is asking us, does Roomvu have a built-in CRM? The answer is no, we are not a CRM.
Yeah.
But we do follow up with your leads once they come in from ads for about a period of like up to a week, and then you can put them in an email campaign and keep in touch with them. But we are in the business of moving them from a cold lead to the warm lead. So from then you need a CRM. You need to build a system to integrate those warm leads and talk with them. So you could send newsletters from our system. That's nice, but think like more like segmented approach, right? Like, is this my top paying client? Is this a repeat client? Is this guy having a chance to come back again, or they're just kind of gone for good? And I always say this: I'm if I had a nickel for every time people told me this is my final home and I'm not moving again. People just pick this home and they're like, we're done. No, they're not done. They'll come back next year. So like, build your system so you can talk with them next year.
That's right. Keep in touch. You've been saying, oh, so are you still enjoying your home? Do you need any trades? How can I help you? Right? Service-based industry. Do not force your stuff onto the people, right? Why not? Just keep in touch. How are you doing? How are you still loving the home? Can I help you with anything? That's all you need to do.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. There's nothing else to do. It's just keep in touch, be there, be seen. And we always go by this omnipresence concept, right? You got to be in their inbox. You got to be on social media, not just one. It's not Facebook business. No, you got to be on Facebook. You got to be on Instagram. You got to be on Twitter. You got to be on TikTok, everywhere. Like, you got to be in all places. Don't think that, okay, because like this other guy is on Instagram, I'm not going there. Okay, let him be. And it's okay if you produce duplicate content. Who cares? Like, 90% of Darci's followers, even more, 99% of Darci's followers are not my followers. So we may be sharing the same concept, but she's educating an entirely different audience, and her sphere is so different than mine. I think this is a typical trap that we fall into, and we think, okay, well, Darci has sent this email. I'm not sending that. No, send it. Like, why would you think, or Darci is using this CRM, I'm not using it? Use it. Your audience, except that one guy that you know that knows you both, probably is entirely different, right?
But also I think too, if that's what agents are thinking, is that if we were both agents, people would, maybe some people are going to resonate more with you and some people are going to resonate more with me. Even if we were doing exactly the same thing, everybody has their own special something that attracts that certain type of person, right? Yeah. So it doesn't matter if someone's doing the same thing or not, because you're going to attract different people.
I think that's a great concept. People miss that a lot. Like, they think, okay, well, no, like we all have to go for the same client. No, you guys have different clients, and there is a way. There's enough homes to sell. Don't worry. Just connect to the right people.
Not right now. There isn't.
I think there was an article in the US. There were more realtors than homes for sale at one point. But, yeah, let's not get in there. All right. Okay. So thank you so much for being a part of this, Darci. Like, I really learned a lot. I hope our audience also did that. So this webinar will be recorded, and it's going to be here for viewing later on. My name is Sam. I'm the CEO of Roomvu, and Darci is the top educator in tech, and is basically helping you to move away from 50 email and 50 inboxes to one centralized place and help you build your business further. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and thanks, Darci, for joining.
Yeah, there's more information on my website at agenttechmastery.com if they want it. I'm all over social media as well, and I have a free webinar that explains all on my website. So please check it out, and if you have any questions, feel free to let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you
so
Sam.
much. Thank you.
Okay.